Hello, Alfonso. Nice to have you on RM Talk.
Thank you for having me here. My name's Alfonso, and I used to think of myself as a bohemian, but now I actually came up with the term light guerrilla because bohemian has been so over commercialized and things like that, and so I figured like I didn't want to be I always thought of like what Groucho Marx said once, that he goes, yeah, I never want to be a part of a group that would have me as a member.
That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, so I figured like bohemian just didn't, although the definition of the word, is like I live by that like code. So I came up with a different name, and like after some, originally I was a live bohemian gorilla, and then that's too long. So I just came up with live gorilla,
And Live Gorilla is your entertainment company.
It's also the name, I've given it to the name of my company, and it's actually a group of us, and it's called Live Gorilla. And I'm really appalled by the idea that now there's this word that's crept in called brand. Like even artists, like
branding.
Like an actor says, oh, we're going to turn you into a brand.
Yeah, because
a movie is turned into.
You feel that the commercialism does not have anything to do with creating art or making films.
It's
do you
passed
feel that
off as art.
your filmmaking in Live Gorilla Entertainment is sort of like an underground production company, which has to do with also bringing forth true revelation messages against corruption of the government, which you may refer to as the Buffalo Killers?
Yeah. Let's start off this. That was a long question. I'll start off like this by saying this is like people have asked me what my religious views are.
Right.
And to me, life is art. A sincere, personal, unique expression of the exploration of the self. Everything I do when it comes to my art is based around that,
which includes filmmaking, of course.
Right. I mean, like to me, filmmaking right now is my medium of choice. I started out as a painter, and like my painting teacher said, I had like all my paintings are like 1 minute or 1 frame movies. And I got into film, and I got hooked. And I like the versatility and just the almost infinite possibilities that you could do. That you could express yourself with filmmaking. As far as my film process is concerned, I feel like I don't cater to any specific demographic. The only demographic I cater to is myself. I love films. I've always loved films since I was my first movie, which was Pinocchio, when I was like 2 or 3 years old.
Right.
And so I figured like as an audience, I had like the audience. In other words, I make it for myself because I represent the audience,
Absolutely.
And if I can please, when I make a movie, if I can please myself, then I know other people are gonna like it, because like I'm the worst critic, I'm my own worst critic. So when I make something, I usually let it sit for a couple of days and watch it, and then I try to learn from it what I did, what works, what doesn't work, and that's how I build myself. But it's like I had my friend, right now I'm working on this movie called Live Gorillas, and it's about a group of guys like myself, who are still working it. I mean, we're not 16-year-old kids like trying to go for an opportunity, $1 million contract on American Idol and that kind of thing. I mean, we're people that have been working it for years. In my personal case, I've been working it for 27 years.
Right.
I mean, I always felt like I was a filmmaker, and I never stopped being one.
And the name of the film is?
The name of the film is Live Gorillas.
And you feel that you produced it and you're directing it?
Right. I came up with a concept. I'm a producer, director, and editor on it. The concept originally was to make a reality movie based, like a reality version of This Is Spinal Tap. That's how we started. So basically, these guys, I go and film their shows, and then like I take all this footage and try to turn it into some kind of not necessarily entertainment. To me, entertainment is something that's engaging, enlightening, and inspiring.
And that was the band Dive Bomber.
That's Dive Bomber. And it features, I mean, how I got into it, because I got to meet the singer. His name is Nomad, and he's what he called himself, an extreme physical graffiti artist.
Do you feel that he's indicative of the rebirth and also activism against the corruption of the government, which would corrupt the society? That type of lyrical genre.
I think, I'll put it to you this way. I think we spoke a little bit before about this. I don't have anything against politics. I think that but there is definitely some corruption going on, you know, like in society. Let's put it, because it goes beyond just politics. I mean, because I think religion is corrupt, you know, I think corporations are corrupt, you know, politics included in there. Society as a whole is corrupt, because they buy into all the stuff that's being, like,
right,
you know, sold to them.
And that a lot of people feel the way you do as well.
Well, hopefully that's what we're trying to do, is just show people that there's a different way. I'm not trying to, like, say my way is better, but I'm just trying to say, because, like, right now they're trying to turn this. I feel like I look around and I see everybody, you know, like they were so against communism and socialism, but everybody looks the same. You know, like before, when I was growing up, being cool meant that you were an individual and you used your own mind and you expressed yourself in your own way. Now being cool is you have to have, you know, like this product, or you have to have this product, or wear these clothes, talk like, you know, this, you know, like street language, which also I'm appalled by, because they're creating, you know, in other words, I think society is creating all these ways to, like, segregate and label ourselves.
I understand. Do you feel that the lead singer Dive Bomber and his graffiti art, he graffitis his body?
It's his way of expressing his art.
And he uses red, white, and blue in his.
He started that way, or at least you know. But he uses all kinds of. I've noticed, like, we've been filming him for about almost 2 years now, and I've noticed that his art has evolved.
And what is the expressionism? How you would describe it as a producer and director, and he's a lead character of your film?
You know, the thing I would say about that is I don't know, and that's why I started filming him. I think, like, if I knew what I was doing when I was making a film, you know, like, remember, we'll go back to what I said about life is art, as an exploration of the self.
Right.
If I knew what I was doing, then I wouldn't have any interest in it. So, you know, like, so the fact of, like, trying to solve the mystery, you know, of his art, and then identifying that we're, you know, we have something in common, you know, like, in what we're doing. We're both, is a matter of self-exploration.
Absolutely. And do you feel that your production company, Live Guerrillas Entertainment, which you said is a underground type of film production crew, is indicative of filmmakers and artists doing a lot of independent work, such as yours, and forming their own companies in the expression of a rebirth, individualism, and doing one's own thing and expressing a true revelation, and even perpetuating a cause against the corruption of the government and what they've done to our generation?
Well, I think, like, everything in life it's kind of like what I call the yin-yang principle.
Right.
You know, there's good and then there's bad. You know, like, new technology is bad because it's made turn people into even lazier, you know, or not lazier, but more apathetic, because everything's being done by this technology. Mm-hmm. But then again, you know, like, the good of it is it's afforded a person like myself, or other artists like myself, the opportunity to be able to do things that we weren't able to before.
Right.
You know, like even 20 or 30 years ago.
Which is the raising of independent corporations, the entrepreneurship, the taking away the control and becoming free individuals as artists is a way of perpetuating free entrepreneurship as a way and as a vehicle of our expression.
Yeah, I mean, 30 years ago, you couldn't make a movie unless you had money.
Right.
It's simple fact. I mean, because not the equipment or whatever, it was the film. Nowadays, you know, if you have, you know, you save up, get a camera, and you have a memory chip, you can make a camera. Like, the feature film we're working on is being shot on a camera similar to yours. It's a Nikon D3200 DSLR. You know, so it's like basically a still camera that streams video. Uh-huh. You know, and any problem, or let's say like image quality things, I fix in Final Cut.
And this is a good thing about the new technology.
Yes, I mean, this is something that actually, you know, we were talking about Christopher. You know, I used to work with
Christopher Coppola.
Yeah, Christopher Coppola, who runs Pow Nation, or created, you know, Pow Nation also, which is Project Accessible Hollywood, and basically it's a new media festival that introduces the common or average person to new technology and kind of shows them how they can tell their own stories in a cinematic way.
Absolutely.
You know, using even their cell phone.
And that is a great thing what Christopher and you and we're doing it as an RM Renaissance era, and certainly the technology and the freedom that we have. Christopher R. Coppola expresses it, you express it, I express it, so it's just a perpetuation of the rebirth and how it is bringing forth a revolution in expression and in vehicles. Yeah. So we're in that way we're really fighting back against the control that the government had over the government. I mean that the government had over the generation.
Some of the things that you're talking about, I don't know if I'm qualified to talk or to answer. No, but my point being is that, you know, like rebirth, Renaissance, those are all historic terms. So like I think it's too premature to say. I mean, do I have those kind of ambitions? I don't know if, you know, like there's people that, you know, that want to like change the world and all that. I don't know if I'm one of those, but I'd like to be a catalyst. You know, I try to be realistic about those kind of things, you know, and by a catalyst I mean like that match that just kind of sparks something, you know, because like as there's a delusion that says one person can change the world. I don't think so. I think you know, one person can start an idea and then, you know, it can grow, but it takes more than that one person. But one person can be a catalyst, and if you have several of these going, and I think there's a lot of that going around in the world, I can see it. You know, like if you look hard enough, there are other artists out there who, like, let's say, sympathize with my thoughts or ideas, as far as like they've had it, you know, and they're not gonna. In other words, a true artist will never be denied. You know, my Chinese grandfather used to have this saying that said that no bag can hold a sharp knife, and I think that's what's happening right now. They've tried to bag that all of us sharp knives, and it's like we're starting to cut through. You know, and eventually there will be. I mean, that's why I was saying about the good and the bad of new technology. New technology has allowed us all these different avenues to explore. I mean, like before, like you made a film, you'd have to get distribution, or, you know, like it was harder to just set up a projector and show. Now you can just upload it to YouTube.
You know, and I believe it's true as a collective and as a organically as a generation. We're using free entrepreneurship in breaking free from any type of control that the United States government may have upon our artists and our generation. So I think we're in total agreement right there. Yeah. And you know, I'd like to thank you for coming and doing our RM talk show. And I wish you the best of luck in your career. And I think, you know, self-entrepreneurs and people in our generation, that we're the new visionaries, and it's just happening organically. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful career.
Oh, thank you. I'm working on it.
All right. Thank you.